and
False news has become all too common on social media. First, unfortunately, some members of the media to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
Yo, folks, we're here talking about border walls today. You know what? We all have heard the situation as to the fact that Biden had stopped the construction of the border wall as soon as he stepped in. Now, you know what? We're still trying to secure the border wall, and it's been an ongoing issue for a while now, and it's a hot topic. You know, Biden halted all construction of the border wall on day one. And now that we're at the end of his administration, Biden's making it harder than ever for a smooth transition, even though he says that it's going to be a smooth transition.
I spoke with President-elect Trump to congratulate him on his victory, and I assured him that I'd direct my entire administration to ensure a peaceful and orderly transition. That's what the American people deserve.
Yeah, he's absolutely right. That's what the American people deserve. But is that what's really happening? You know, after Biden met with Trump and ensured the nation that there'll be a smooth transition in power, Biden then takes it upon himself to begin selling off materials to build that border wall that he stopped. You know, he was selling it for pennies on the dollar. And this is only just a month and a half ago, a month or so before the transition of power between the Biden administration and the Trump administration.
Joe Biden is now hauling off the border wall that's been lying down for years, and he wants to auction it off starting at $5 a piece. Message to the White House right now: I will bid on all of that wall, and we will buy it in Texas, and we will give it to Donald Trump. So I'm going to find out first thing in the morning where are we going to take the bid. I've got $1 billion in my pocket to do it. I write the budget with Senator Joan Huffman. We have the money. We're going to have about $6 billion in our budget for border security.
Dan, don't drive up the cost. Don't drive up the cost. The first bid is only $5 a piece of the wall. But
I will go in and buy it all.
Hey, for $5, I'd go in and buy some. You know, if anything, it'll be a memento as to, you know, what Trump was doing. But bottom line is that the Lieutenant Governor of Texas makes it very clear that they'll put it within their budget just to be able to buy the materials back through the auction to secure the construction and completion of that wall.
The administration is trying to sell it for 5 cents on the dollar, knowing that we're getting ready to put it up. And what they're doing is really an act. It's almost a criminal act. They know we're going to use it. And if we don't have it, we're going to have to rebuild it, and it'll cost double what it cost years ago, and that's hundreds of millions of dollars, because you're talking about a lot of wall. I built much more than I said I was going to build, but then after it was built, I said, you know, we can do some more because it's sort of like water, people flow through, and that will pretty much really take care of it. And what happened is they just, as you see, they're trying to sell it for 5 cents on the dollar. And that's really, that has nothing to do with a smooth transition. That has to do with people really trying to stop our nation.
Yes, vindictiveness. You know, that since Trump won and the Democrats lost, Biden is doing everything he can because he's pissed, because he was taken off the ticket. And Trump ultimately stomped all over the Democrats, and it made it very clear to them that the nation wanted a change. And just as Trump had said, this is not conducive of a smooth transition. This is practically an act of treason. Biden is putting the nation deeper into financial debt, just having to be able to repurchase this material, you know, while still keeping the borders wide open for others to come through. It's ridiculous.
Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick announcing that an auction of border wall materials will be postponed until after the inauguration. The sale sparked outrage from Republicans saying it undermined President-elect Trump's ability to resume construction of a wall. Talking about a lot of material, a lot of steel, frankly. Lieutenant Governor's with me now, and sir, good morning to you. At one time, you thought this stuff was a pile of junk because it was sitting there for 4 years. How much have you been able to procure?
So, Bill, let's call this the Great Biden Christmas border wall heist that President Trump, with a little help from his friends in Texas, stopped and caught him red-handed. Here's what happened, Bill. Last Thursday, the story broke when a border wall agent or a border agent said they were moving wall. I happened to be on Laura Ingraham that night as that story broke, and I said, well, I've got $1 billion in my pocket. We'll go buy it all. Well, we looked the next day, and it wasn't there. It was just old stuff was there, or maybe some photos that they were kind of masquerading what it was. Because what happened, Bill, is this summer they notified us of an auction. We bought $12 million worth of border wall, about 4 miles, a big savings to our taxpayers. But they didn't tell us about this auction, as we find out. So they moved that wall, started last weekend, and that's when it started showing up. Fox had video of it, photos of it, and they were hustling it to Arizona to auction off yesterday. In the meantime, President Trump came out and said, this could be a criminal act. You better not do it. And we sent our people over there with our checkbook and said, we'll buy it all if it's good.
Yes, and they did exactly that. He made it very clear that in his first interview with Laura Ingraham that they would budget it in, purchase that material, just to be able to ensure that the wall was going to be built. And it's just ridiculous as to the extremes that they have to do to be able to ensure that this country stay a country. Because without borders, this is not a country. It is a free-for-all. And it's been that way now for 4 years, which is ridiculous. But bottom line is that now we've had patriots who have gone out and purchased the materials for pennies on the dollar and approached Trump with these materials, offering to sell it back to them for what they purchased it for. And in addition to that, it's taken the Attorney General a step in to stop this ridiculous sale. So, you know what? I just love the fact that this nation has really turned its course. Even the mayor of New York City's made it very clear as of the fact that being in the United States is a privilege. And those who choose not to abide by the laws should not stay. And what I don't understand is that I'm a citizen of the United States, and that if I were to commit a crime, I could be convicted and I'd go to jail. But what I don't get is how an illegal immigrant whose presence alone in this nation is a crime in itself. But if they were to do anything wrong, they'd be released that day. So let's see what he's got to say here.
The Democratic Party must ensure that they're listening to the voices of the people. The American people, they spoke loudly and clearly, and they stated that we have to secure our borders. It's a privilege and a right to be in America, and if you violate that, you should not be in this country. That number of people, which I believe is a small number, committing those violent acts, like the gangs that we've mentioned, should not be here.
Correct. He is absolutely right about that. And in addition to that, a survey has recently taken shows that 64% of the nation makes it very clear that deporting illegal immigrants back to their nations of origin is what should be done. So it's a vast majority. And these are the same people who had voted Trump into office, which means that these are people across the board in terms of their nationalities. Hispanics, too, feel that deportation should take place. So, somehow there's a small faction of people who oppose this act, which is really weird as far as I'm concerned. And bottom line, again, is that the masses have spoken and they've elected Trump in order to accomplish this task. So, thank you, folks, for listening. And as always, love, like, and share the truth. Don't forget to subscribe while you're at it. So,